All right, so here we go. We'll start with Raw. All right, so Jey Uso opened Raw, a brand new Intercontinental Champion, which is totally awesome. They added some blue to the belt. I love that. Kind of old school.
It was
They
necessary.
It was
It's
it was
in.
kind of a
It's in.
bland belt.
It looked like a hubcap.
Yeah, yeah, but they added that blue, really made it pop. I think it really made the overall look of the title a lot better. So he's out there getting emotional, almost crying a little bit. I mean, the guy's been around a long time. This is his first singles championship. It's kind of an emotional deal. And then Braun Breaker interrupts him. And now, when I saw this, I thought, what an asshole. Okay, because I'm obviously supposed to think that, But he comes out and he does the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. The guy who just lost the title, who is known to be like this giant machine, going off of his dad and his uncle, he's like a mean guy, and he comes out and he gives Jey Uso props and he shakes his hand and leaves. What? Like, I was literally confused. I thought he was gonna, maybe hit the crowd, pop back up on the other side, give him a spear. No, nothing happened. He just, hey man, I respect you. Shakes his hand, leaves. Like, okay, but build me a face v face feud. Let Braun Breaker be a face if he wants to. Everybody, people want to cheer him.
I
People want to
mean,
cheer
look
him.
at his work. People
Yeah,
want to cheer him.
he's fantastic. So, okay,
Yeah.
weirdest thing I've seen as far as like an ex champion to new champion dynamic on the very next night that they're available to talk to one another. But still, super cool. Moving on. Um, Xavier Woods beat Rey Mysterio after he rolled him up after removing his mask. Xavier Woods is on a freaking freight train to a heel turn. The New Day is about to break up. They're, at least that's the way they're signaling it. Unless they have some kind of Kane and Daniel Bryan version thing where they have a psychologist come into it or something like that and do therapy, which would be cool.
Get Dr. Shelby back.
Yeah, get Dr. Shelby back.
Yeah.
Um, unless they do something like that, Xavier Woods is 100% being a heel. Karrion Kross kind of started all this. He's been kind of poking at Xavier Woods and The Miz about kind of turning on their partners and how they're not, their partners aren't good enough for them or vice versa. Karrion Kross and the final judgment or whatever they're called. I don't remember what that's called. Final
Right?
Testament.
Yeah.
There we go. It's Final
Yeah.
Testament. It's kind of a Judgment Day light to me. They're about as effective as House of Black and AEW. Unfortunately, like, they look scary, but they're booked like shit. Um, and they got Paul Ellering, which is a waste of Paul Ellering. He's never on the mic, and that's a waste. Period.
What's the point of that?
Why do you know? Why do you? Yeah. Why do you even have the guy if you never have him on the mic? Karrion Kross does all the mic work for that group. So why is Paul Ellering even there, and why are you wasting that poor man's talents? Now, anyway, so Xavier Woods rolled up Rey Mysterio, beat him after he removed the mask. The match was serviceable. It was all right. I hate it. I'm giving it up because I hate mask spots. I hate disrespecting a luchador's mask. I'm from Texas, where lucha's a big deal down here, as much as it is in Mexico, because all it's here with us. There's a large Mexican population. I'm half Mexican myself. We love our lucha down here. Don't play with the man's mask. Don't. I don't like it. I will never like it. Even if they, I know it's going to happen. It happens in AEW. It happens in WWE. I'm going to see it. I'm going to have to live with it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. So, bam, I don't like that very much. Zoe
What if
Stark.
what if it's leading to like a lucha de apuesta?
I mean, okay, but
Because you know that he's not going to lose the mask. It would be
no.
Woods losing his hair.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. My only thing is, it's happening a lot lately. I feel like, especially in AEW, which I don't cover, but for my consumption, it happens a lot, and I feel like it should happen less. So that's kind of where I'll leave it. As far as that goes, the match was serviceable. Though it wasn't a bad match. I just don't like mask spots, so kind of ruined it for me at the end. But it did service in having Xavier beat a really over face in a really crappy way, to kind of further his heel turn. He's wearing black now, which I get. I mean, I know their gear is kind of like Power Ranger, or not, yeah, Power Ranger throwback. And he's supposed to be like Black Ranger, but he's wearing black. He usually wears he usually wears purple or something like that, and so then we had Zoe Stark defeating Lyra Valkyria. after the Pure Fusion Collective interfered.
Oh, it's such a crappy name.
Yeah, I don't
I
like the
hate
name.
it.
I don't like the
Ugh.
name. But then at the end, they're actually beating down Lyra Valkyria and Katana Chance and Caden Carter show back up, make their return, which was cool. They got a nice big pop. Um, they did the faces stand tall thing. Um, there was a little segment afterwards where they're immediately inserting themselves in the women's tag division, which, to be honest with you, I would rather see Katana and Caden versus Bianca and Jade than I would see them versus Alba Fire and her partner again. I'm sorry, I can't remember the girl's name right now. I don't really. I've only seen a couple of their matches. I'm not that familiar with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I even cut out of NXT UK before that was like, and UK was great for a while, but then it was just so difficult to watch for a while too.
Right.
Pandemic
Right.
really hit it hard.
Yeah. Pandemic hit
But yeah, I
everybody
can't
hard.
remember her name either.
Right. So then we had CM Punk and Drew McIntyre inside a cell for their final face to face before Hell in a Cell of Bad Blood. And CM Punk said he's been away from his wife and sleeping in a hotel because he's become a monster and he does not want to expose his wife to the monster he's become. And so he's going to end Drew McIntyre so that he can go home to his wife. And
Sounds awfully familiar.
I don't remember what Drew McIntyre said because Punk went second. And that's like, but it was very much I'm going to end your career. And Punk was very much like, I'm
Yeah.
sending you back to back to Scotland in a box. So they did that. They're both very very angry. It's very very believable because apparently they really don't care for each other. Although
Yeah.
lately I've seen reports to contrary that they do kind of like each other now. But I'm not in the rumor game. I'm in the what's going on screen game. And what's going on screen is that they hate each other, and it's freaking believable. And I was stoked for this match, and it delivered in every way possible. We'll get to that here in a minute. Next, after that, we had R-Truth returning for a segment where Braun Strowman was having a throwaway interview. R-Truth intervened in it, or no, Miz intervened in it and was talking to R. Strowman about how he interrupted the match that Miz was supposed to have with Bronson Reed. Miz should really just thank God he didn't have to have that match with Bronson Reed because right now he's kind of a throwaway character and Bronson Reed is destroying people. So, um, but then R-Truth interrupted the two of them, and so R-Truth's back after being attacked by said, Bronson Reed and completely destroyed. Which is kind of a foreshadowing for something later in the show, and I didn't realize it until after, but you really don't most of the time. But it was foreshadowing for something later on in the show involving said people. Now, well, in a couple of ways, actually, because R-Truth then discussed with Miz after Strowman left about how he knows that Karrion Kross has been picking on him. So he got us a match with AOP. So this is like the second or third tag match that Miz didn't want to have that R-Truth just rolled up and was like, hey, we got this tag match. R-Truth funny as usual. I love R-Truth. Cool.
Did I mention to you that the last time they came through the town, I actually saw R-Truth at the grocery store? Yeah, I walked by it and I said, "What's up?" He's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" That was the extent of it, but I thought it was cool.
That is pretty, especially because you said what's up to him.
Yeah, I don't think he quite got the bit that I was doing because I think he would just wanted to get something and leave because people recognize him everywhere. So
right. So after that, Judgment Day had a 6-man tag against LWO. It was Carlito, McDonough, the bobblehead, and Dirty Dom versus the LWO guys. Liv Morgan interfered, and Judgment Day got the win, as is tradition. I don't know what to say about it. I'll move on. We're gonna get to Judgment Day when I do my things I like and things I didn't like about this episode. Then Gable defeated Kofi Kingston in a match. Hold on. Before that, hold on. I a little bit ahead of myself. Judgment Day beat down the Terror Twins after said 6-man tag match. Like Finn came out, they're doing a promo. It's very basic. Terror Twins come out to raise some hell. Of course, they were outnumbered. They get beat up. So once again, Judgment Day standing above Rhea and Damien, who are supposed to be being built to be like some of the baddest people in the world. But
I mean, that's believable.
I mean, I guess, yeah, there's
Let's be
set,
real.
it's like
Like,
5-on-2. I guess it is believable. Yeah. Okay. So then Chad Gable defeated Kofi Kingston. But it was after Xavier Woods interfered in the match. He grabbed Gable's leg, I guess, to trip him up. But when he did it, Kofi was setting up for Trouble in Paradise. So he went for the move. Gable's leg got held and Kofi crashed out. So
mhm.
Xavier advertently or inadvertently has cost Kofi the match there. Kofi's understandably upset, but he didn't really take action. Um, Either way, another point in the Xavier traveling further onto the heel side. I think it'll come out later that that was on purpose, but I don't know. Then after that, Sami Zayn and Gunther had their face to face. I love this angle because I love Sami Zayn, and I also really like Gunther. I mean, how can you not? The guy is he is what a heel champion should be. Sami Zayn is what an underdog babyface should be. This is a classic mix. It's wrestling booking 101, and it's
Plus, there's
working.
the intrigue built in that Sammy's the only one on the main roster besides the Survivor Series matches we don't
Well,
count.
yeah,
Um, to beat the guy.
yeah, and he
So
brought that
like,
up.
so it's realistic to think that maybe Sammy could do it again because he's the only one who's done it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and that's what Sammy brought up this time. He threw it right in Gunther's face. Like, I'm the only person to have beaten you, and you're afraid to give me this shot. And then he said, well, Gunther went on about how he also brought his family to WrestleMania, and they got to watch him lose to you. And then he spouted off a German line. He's like, "That's what my dad told me. You know what it means? It means I had to fly here all the way from Austria to watch you lose to a bum like Sami Zayn." And he's like, and the answer's still no. And then Sami Zayn's like, well, how do you say in German to your dad that he raised a coward? At which point Gunther unleashed and beat the hell out of him. But when he got up, he picked up the mic and said, hey, yeah, you want the match next week on Raw? That I thought, well, yeah, okay, I had the same look on my face. It's next week on Raw, not at Bad Blood. What? But then you think about it, and Bad Blood kind of already has 4 or 5 matches that are being built for Bad Blood. So if you go by the WWE pay per view formula, this don't fit. And we'll get to something else on SmackDown that should have been on Bad Blood that didn't fit either. But yeah, on Raw next week. So our next episode, we'll cover this match. Unfortunately, not this Bad Blood episode.
hey, you know what though? I mean, that's good for them. For I mean, I would traditionally I'd put that on pay per view, pure PLE or whatever.
Yeah.
But fact of the matter is, like, uh, hopefully the same people who complained that they gave away Ricochet and Will Ospreay on free TV are saying the same stuff about you're putting the world title on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Better bring that same energy, guys. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Right. So then after that, we had a
Do
Wyatt
not be a hypocrite. Be consistent.
Amen. So then after that, we had a Wyatt Six video that gave a little hint at the end that Alexa Bliss might be returning soon, which is totally cool. I'm down for that. I think she's been out for maternity leave, if I'm not mistaken, which
Yeah, yeah.
always cool to see people back when they weren't hurt. They were just out there living life. So, I'm
Mhm.
glad she was out there living life. I'm also glad to see her back. So then after that, we had the Awesome Truth versus AOP. One thing I'm going to say about this match, the result of this match made me happy for one reason and one reason only. And I think it's because when they come out together and sing the song together, Miz is always offbeat. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but he is the
he's so white.
stereotype of a white person who cannot do hip hop. He cannot do the
Uh,
hip hop. Please stop, Grandpa.
I,
Um,
you got to give him credit for trying though. Like,
right,
God love him. Like,
right. So
he's out
anyway,
there doing it.
right. So anyway, they have the match. Truth does the John Cena light thing. Then he starts getting all the heat. He goes for the hope spot. He tags in Miz for the hot tag. Miz immediately turns around, boots him in the face, and jumps out of the ring, tears off his Awesome True shirt on the way out. So, and Karrion Kross, who is ringside, is laughing his head off. So Karrion Kross has had an effect, I think, on both Xavier Woods and The Miz, who would both, by the way, be much needed injections to this final Testament project. That would make it would make it NWO huge, but it would, like, as people wise, but it would it would definitely help as far as competent workers with good mic skills. Um, then Strowman and Bronson Reed had a match together, the last monster standing, so a last man standing match with two big meaty men. Strowman wins. I mean, they went everywhere. Strowman went off the top through the announce table. They did
Saw a clip of that.
anything
I
you,
love the spot. I love
yeah.
that spot.
And
Big
then they
fan.
did a superplex and collapsed the ring.
Bigger fan of that spot.
And then they put the stairs in the ring, and Bronson Reed ended up face down on the stairs, but Strowman was selling down. And then Seth Rollins shows back up for the return after being put out in kayfabe by Bronson Reed, and does the stomp to Bronson Reed on the stairs. And then, right as the referee's about to hit 10, Strowman stands up. So Strowman wins.
Which
Rollins is
is
back.
which is impressive. I just saw on Twitter like a couple hours ago that apparently Braun Strowman tore his groin 2 minutes
Ooh,
into that match. So he wrestled that entire match with all of those big spots with a torn groin.
right.
I have my issues with some of the things that Braun Strowman has said in interviews and on social media, but that man is tough as nails, and I gotta give it to him. I really
Mm,
do, because that I can't imagine how terrible a torn groin must feel. Thank
right.
gosh I've never had it happen to me.
Right. Now, really quickly, the things I didn't like and the things I did like. A couple of things I did like starting off. I loved CM Punk versus Drew inside the cell for that final face off.
Mm,
Security all between them, obviously hating each other. It was cinema, as the children would
mm,
say.
mm.
I know you hate that, and I only did
I
that to irritate
do.
you just a little bit, but
Like, yeah, but whatever.
but
Whatever.
I also liked Sami Zayn and Gunther face to face, and Sami Zayn really riling Gunther up, Gunther showing some emotion for once, which is uncharacteristic of him, which makes this even more intriguing because Sammy's the only person who's beat him, and now he's kind of he's showing emotion, and oh crap, the ring general is shook by something. Um, Something I didn't like about the show. I never liked Judgment Day. I never like Judgment Day segments. I never like watching Rhea Ripley get beat up and going down and
Mm.
looking weak because I know she can beat up most of the dudes on that roster for realsies. So I just don't like the Judgment Day segments. I just really don't like Judgment Day that much. Some of their matches are entertaining, but really, I'm there in that program for Damien and Rhea. I'm not there for any members of Judgment Day. Although I will give Dom his props for his ever continuing nuclear level of heat. Until the day they stop booing that man, I'll stop giving him that prop every single week. But until then, his mere presence is like Boo City. I will give him his props until he's somehow able to eliminate his own nuclear heat. He'll probably have to shave his mullet for that.
It's
I
a
don't
pretty
know.
long half life on that, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah, pretty long. And then another thing I did like, um, I kind of hate the entrance to R-Truth and Miz together because of Miz's offbeatness and my love for hip hop. So I did like Miz kicking R-Truth in the face. God, I love R-Truth, but I really loved him getting kicked in the face here because that means I'll never have to hear that entrance again, at least for a while. And when I do hear it again, I'll be like, hell yeah, Awesome Truth is back together. But right now, hell yeah, they're broken apart. And something weird's going on with Miz and Xavier Woods, and they're doing the thing. And now for the big thing, the foreshadowing I was talking about earlier, R-Truth returned after being destroyed by Bronson Reed. Foreshadowing said return of Seth Rollins, who was
Yeah.
also destroyed by Bronson Reed a week before R-Truth was destroyed by Bronson Reed. So bringing them back in
Mm.
the same week totally makes sense, but it was a bit of foreshadowing. I don't know if they played it that way, but that's the way it turned out. So good on them.
Yeah.
Um, Heck yeah, that was Raw for the week. And now I'm going to tag in my boy Adam.